Om Namah Paramarishibhyo Namah Paramarishibhyaha Harihi Om Antarayati Miropashantaye Shantapavanamachantya Vaibhavam Tannaram Vapushi Kunjaram Mukhe Manmahe Kimapi Tundilam Maham Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Yasyantannadimadhyam nahi karcharanam Namagotram na sutram No jatirnaiva varna na bhavati purusho na napumsam na chastri Na akaram no vikaram nahi janimaranam nasti punyam na papam Tattvam no tattvam sahaja samarasam sadgurum tam namami Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Mauna Vyakhya Prakatita Parabrahma Tattvam Yuvanam Varshishtam Vasadrishiganairavrtam Brahmanishtai Acharyendram Karakalita Chinmudramanandarupam Swatmaramam Muditavadanam Dakshinamurtimide Vedantartha Vibhasagaye Yataye Shantaya Sannyasine Nanavadinagendra Sankhapavaye Yogindra Vandhyaye Cha Mohadvanta Divakaraya Bhagavatpaada Bhidam Vibhrate Tasmai Bhashyakrite Namostu Satatam Purnaya Bodhatmane Apara Satchit Sukhavari Rashi Yasyor Mimatram Bhuvanam Samastam Guhahidam Tam Ramanam Gabhiram Chinta Vihinam Hridi Chintayami Deham Rinmaya Vajjadatmakamaham Buddhirna Dasyastyato Naham tattadabhava sukti samaye siddhatma sadbhavataham Koham bhavayutah kuto varadhiya drishtvatmanishtatmanam Soham spurtidaya arunachala shivah purno vibhati swayam Sharada sharadam bhojavadana vadanam bhuje Sarvada sarvada asmakam sannidhim kriyat Yontah pravishya mama vacham imam prasuptam Sanjeevayathyakhila shaktidhara swadhamnam Anyam shahastacharana shravanatvagadinam Pranan namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam Vishuddham param satchidanandarupam Gunadharamadharahinam sumanyam Mahantam vibhantam guhantam gunantam Sukhantam swayam dhamaramam prapatti We have heard about what Disha Bharat is doing. And so many of the sayings of Swami Vivekananda was also quoted. And the caption that is given is, you have heard, ethics from the epics. Of course, they did not compel me to talk on that subject. It is just an inaugural talk. In the whole year, the subject will be that. And you heard, it is from epics. Epics means Ramayana, Mahabharata. They are called itihasa. And in Veda themselves there are itihasas and Puranas. Because Veda itself speaks about itihasa and Purana. So it is not simply Ramayana and Bharata. There are itihasas and Puranas in Veda also. Itihasa Puranabhyam Vedartam Upabrahmayet. This is the instruction. With the help of Itihasa and Purana, one has to understand what is taught in Vedas. That is why all the Itihasas are also called Veda only. Panchamo Vedaha. Bharatam is called Panchamo Vedaha. It is the fifth Veda. And Ramayana also is also called Vedic only. Arshe, Ityarshe Srimad Ramayane. Vedavedye pare pumsi Jate Dasharathatmaje Vedaf Pracheda Sadasit Sakshad Ramayanatmana. Ramayana says, when that Paramapurusha Bhagavan took avataara as Rama, and who is to be known through the Vedas, when he incarnated, Vedas themselves descended as Ramayana. Veda Vedye Pare Pumsi Jate Dasharathatmaje Veda Pracheda Sadasit Sakshad Ramayana Mana. It is our culture, our tradition to show some Vedic background to everything. You know Bhagavatam, it says it is Veda. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam. It is the sweet ripe fruit that has fallen from the Vedic tree. Nigama kalpataru. And you can go into the Kavya, Nataka, everywhere they say this has come from Vedas. In Tamil Nadu I have seen Terukkuth, this ordinary Nadagam, that is they will play in the streets. They also say this has come from Vedas. Bharata says, how did he create that Natya Shastra? He says, Jagraha Pathyam Rigvedat Samabhyo Gitamevacha Yajurvedad abhinayan rasan atharvanadapi. Took the subject matter from Rigveda and the music direction was done from Samaveda. Samabhyo Geetam. And the acting, everything was the rasa, the Nataka was done by Yajurveda. Yajurvedad abhinayana rasan atharvanadapi. The essence, the rasa, it came from Atharva Veda. So thus there is a Vedic background for everything. And Veda is the pramanam for Dharma. They call ethics. Ethics means what? Dharma only. Dharma is a very profound word. Shankaracharya said, that which can help you to lead a very beautiful, excellent life here, and which can help you to attain the knowledge of the self, Atmajnana. Both should be possible, and that is Dharma. Dvividho hi vedokto dharmaha pravritti lakshano nivritti lakshanascha jagadasthiti karanam. And Dharma means a sakshad abhyudaya nishreyasa hetu. So, this Dharma is the subject now. Many places after giving some teaching, the last line, you can see this in Subhashitam. And even Buddha says this. He says, Esha dharma sanatana. This is the sanatana dharma. So today, generally, there is only one subject for us. Whatever may be the subject that people ask, at last it comes to the same subject, that is Vedanta, the knowledge of the self. So, but today they have given the subject that I have to somehow touch the epic, the Purana, Itihasa. So Ramayana, in Tamil, there is a saying that Ishvara himself will give the first line. Adi eduthu kudukkarathu. Like that, the speaker here, he spoke about Ramayana. So I decided, okay, Ramayana. So Ramayana, in the very beginning, Sage Valmiki, he is talking about ethics. While coming here, a devotee in whose house we were staying, he was saying there is a great degradation of ethics in society now. And everybody speaks about it. Everywhere, always this problem is there. And how to have that resurrection. That is what Disha is also. They are searching in what Disha to go. How to give a lift. And the answer is, Ramayana begins with that answer. In Ramayana there is no dhyana shloka. If you look at Mahabharata, there is a dhyana shloka. Bhagavata there is a dhyana shloka, but in Ramayana there is no dhyana shloka. It directly enters into the text, but the very first word is the most auspicious word. You know what it is? It is tapas, it is tapaha. The epic begins with tapaha, tapasvadhyaya niratam, tapasvi vagvidam varam, naradam paripapracha, valmikir munipungavam. The very picture is so uplifting, inspiring, that you can envision, you can see a forest, deep within the forest there is the hermitage, the ashrama of Valmiki, on the bank of Tamasa river. And there suddenly Bhagavan Narada appears, the great divine sage appears there. And there is no shloka describing Valmiki receiving Narada and doing puja and then asking, but it is directly the question, no time. And Valmiki is asking Narada, Narada is also a tapasvi, Vagvidam Varaha, one who knows the heart, the soul of Vak. Vak means Vedas. Vak means Shabda. Vak means, you can say, sound. One who knows the essence of Shabda. Vagvidam varam naradam paripapracha. Paripapracha means with devotion, with humility, with all prerequisites. This sage worshipped Narada, it is implied there, and then asked him one question. But before entering that question, we have to see this epic begins with tapas. They have already told that is the most auspicious beginning. Because tapas is a name for Bhagavan. Tapas does not simply mean austerity only. Tapo brahmeti. Shruti says tapa is Brahma. Tapas itself is Brahman. It is another synonym for Brahman. It is for another name for Bhagavan. So when Ramayana begins with tapas, it has begun with the name of Bhagavan. You can see Bhagavad Gita. How does it begin? Dharma, right? Dharma kshetre. It begins with Dharma and ends with Mama. Dhruva nitir matir mama. You just join it. Mama Dharma. It is my Dharma. One person easily said, what does Bhagavad Gita says? He said, Bhagavad Gita teaches you, give up all Dharma and wander about as you like. Where is it said? He said, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Yathechasi Tathakura. Two places join. Sarva Dharman Parityajya is in one place. Yathechasi Tathakuru is in another place. Join them together. So it begins with Dharma. So Dharma is the way of life, and the essence of Dharma is given in Ramayana as tapas. And along with tapas, Swadhyaya, the study of the Vedas and scriptures that will give you the essence of Vedic knowledge. Constant study. There is a Veda mantra which says, Swadhyayo vai deva pavitram. Swadhyaya just purifies you. It is divinely purifying. So tapas swadhyaya niratam. You have one side, you should have some spiritual practice. On another side, you should have constant study, listening, study, contemplation on scriptures. Shruto anupatitaha dhyataha. Bhagavata says, Shravana, Anupatthana, Dhyana. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Only the same. But you have to do Anupatthana and Dhyana. Adhritaha. And with reverence. And you do this for a long period. Anything that is really valuable in life, it will not suddenly come. You have to work for it. Satu dirghakala nairantarya satkara sevito dridhabhumihi. Patanjali in Yoga Sutra says, for a long period, constantly, with immense reverence, you work on yourself to attain what they call as ethics. It is not that easy. We can speak about ethics. We can speak about values. We can speak about character. As Swami Vivekananda said, education is character building. It is not that easy. There is a story of Ramakrishna where one mother brought her son, young boy, to a guru. And that Amma said, Guruji, please tell him he is eating too much sugar. This is what she wanted. And that Guruji said, take back your son, bring him to me next month. After 1 month, that lady brought her son, and then this Swami said, from today onwards, you should not eat too much sugar. Okay, go. Then that lady asked, Swamiji, you could have told this last month. All the way I came to you after 1 month. That lady said, last month I was also eating sugar. I was also consuming too much sugar. So if I have to tell him, I have to abstain from taking sugar, so I practiced it for 1 month so that whatever I tell will have that power. There is a Bhashya Vachana, Yadi Alpavidapi Chittavan Bhavati Taduktartha Grahanayeva Shrotumichanti Nipunaha. Even if he knows very little, if he has absorbed that teaching, whatever he tells, pure-hearted people will long to listen. As Swami Vivekananda said, if you have love in your heart, each word that you utter will tell like thunderbolt. In one place, he very beautifully says, because we speak so much about society and changing society and society's problem. Swamiji says, do you really know what is the problem of the society? Have you moved with them? And have you really directly seen their problems? And if so, if you have seen, does it give you pain? Does it make you sleepless? Are you suffering with that? And that also is not enough. Do you have any solution for that? Otherwise, don't talk. If you have a real solution for that, then you come out and declare it. Then that will have a great impact in society. Otherwise not. So first you should know the problem, then you should be aware of the solution, there should be very deep compassion in you. Then only that will have any impact. With this compassion only sages wrote Ramayana, Bharata, all. Because Valmiki did not write Ramayana. He heard, he asked, that was his problem. The problem of a sage is how to control the senses, how to put the mind into that samadhi state, how to have that deep character foundation, how to be established in jnana. That is what every sage is struggling. And in that effort, it is very superhuman effort. Naturally, doubt will come. Will it be possible for anyone? Is there anybody who has attained that, achieved that? Naturally, it will come. So Valmiki is asking Narada, is there any person now living, not some old person, historical person, now? Konvasmin sampratam loke gunavan, that itself is enough. Kasya viryavan dharmajnascha kritajnascha satyavakyo dridhavrataha charitrena chako yuktaha sarvabhuteshu kohitaha vidvan kaha kasamarthasya kasyaika priyadarshanaha atmavan ko jitakrodhaha vidvan ko nasuyakaha kasya bibhyati devasya jataroshasya sanyuge etadikchamyaham shrotum param kautuhalam hi me maharshe tvam samarthosi jnatum evam vidham naram. He says, I don't want to know about any deva or incarnation. I am asking about a human being who has all those values in him, who has a very pure character, integrity, truthfulness, love, humility, and tremendous willpower, courage, valor. When Valmiki asked this question to Narada, because Narada is wandering everywhere, he has seen so many people. So Narada said, Bahavo durlabhashaiva yetvaya kirtita gunaha. Whatever you have asked, they are innumerable and very rare to find, but still I can tell you somebody is there. Now, Ikshvaku Vamsha Prabhavo Ramo Nama Janaihi Shrutaha. A great prince who is known by the name Rama. He is born in Ikshvaku Vamsha, in the dynasty of Ikshvaku Raghu. Saying this, Narada enumerates, elaborates on Rama's Rama Guna. Even as a prince, he has all these qualities in him. He narrates everything. Hearing that, Valmiki listens to the Ramayana in a brief form directly from Narada. Narada initiates Valmiki about Ramakatha. Bhagavata also Narada initiates Vyasa. Here Ramakatha, Narada gives initiation to Valmiki. And there is a very beautiful verse there where Narada says, We have already seen one verse, Ichvaku Vamsha Prabhavo. Rakshita Jivalokasya Dharmasya Parirakshita Rakshita Swasya Dharmasya Swajanasya Cha Rakshita. It's a very compact, complete verse where Narada says Rama is the protector of Jivaloka. Now we have the Navami period also coming near. Rama is the protector of Jivaloka. Rakshita Jivalokasya Dharmasya Parirakshita. He is the protector of Dharma. Not only the outer Dharma, Rakshita Swasya Dharmasya. He holds on to his Dharma, Swajanasya Cha Rakshita. After listening to this Ramayana Katha, Valmiki's mind becomes very clear, crystal clear. The contact with sage Narada and listening to him, Valmiki's mind was lifted. There was a profound aesthetic feeling inside. It was as if suddenly he was impregnated with Ramayana. So suddenly he started walking in the forest. His disciple Bharadwaja was behind him. He looked at the trees, the river, the sky, the earth. Everywhere there was a divine fragrance. And he saw so many birds there. And you know the story? One hunter came and he shot a bird with an arrow. Suddenly this happened that one bird in front of him, a very lovely, beautiful couple were sitting there on a branch, and that male bird falls down hurt by the arrow. Seeing that, Valmiki had that, he was in ecstasy. He was in a meditative state. Suddenly he saw this violence. He was deeply hurt. And there, shoka shlokatvam agataha, the shoka, the sorrow suddenly became shloka. And it came down as a curse. And he said, Manishada pradishtham tvamagamaha shashvati samaha yat kraunja mithunadekam avadhihi kamamohitam. Is a very well-known verse where he says, you hunter, you will not attain peace of mind because you did this a puerile act. You killed this bird. Like that comes the verse, but suddenly it was a verse, a poetry. It was a poem that happened. Along with that curse, Ramayana was born. And Bharadwaja, by-hearted, took that verse by rote and he was chanting it. And when he went back to the hermitage, he was contemplating what came through me. This is the way the shloka is born. It is not written. A sage suddenly becomes a kavi, a poet. And then the story goes that Brahmaji himself came down and told Valmiki, you have to write Ramayana. And when you write, I give you word, not a single falsehood will creep in. So write, Nate vag anrta kavye kachitatra bhavishyati kuru ramakatham punyam shlokabadham manoramam. Thus Valmiki wrote Ramayana. And in Ramayana, he was picturing that Rama's Dharma, Ramo Vigrahavan Dharma. You can see the entire Rama replete with Rama's character and the way he stands out as a Dharma, Vigrahavan Dharma. Even Maricha says to Ravana that Ramo Vigrahavan Dharma. And Tyaga, renunciation is deep down there. In Bhagavata, Shuka tells, Vande Mahapurushate Charanaravindam, where he says, who can renounce the kingdom like Rama? Tyaktva dusudustyaja surepsida rajya lakshmim dharmishta aryavajasa yadagadharanyam Maya mrigam daitaye psitamanvadhavat vande mahapurushate charanaravindam. Vande mahapurushate charanaravindam. In Ramayana you can see this Mahapurusha Katha. So the entire epic is replete, filled with this dharma, this idea of dharma. And we saw how Mahabharata also, Gita also begins with dharma. The very Gita Bhashya Shankaracharya begins with this definition for dharma. And what essentially is this dharma? In Ramayana, Rama says, Sukshmaha Paramadudnyeyaha Satam Dharma Plavangama Hridista Sarvabhutanam Atma Veda Shubhashubham. The secret of dharma is known only to an enlightened being, a jnani. In Buddhism, they say, Dharmam Sharanam Gacchami. In fact, they call Jnanam as Dharmam. In Gaudapada Karika also it is there. The Dharma Shabda is used to explain Jnana. What is implied is only Jnanam. So Dharma is, or ethics is, to put the body, mind, intellect, everything in order so that it will not disturb your own inner peace and it will not disturb others around you. This is Abhyudaya and Nishresa. Nishresa is for you, Abhyudaya is for everyone around. So Dharma is born from tapas. And it is revealed through the character of a person. That is what Swami Vivekananda said, character building. It is not that easy. In Gita, 12th chapter, Bhagavan says, Adveshta sarva bhutana maitra karuna evacha. After enlisting everything, he says, Dharmyamritam. This is the essence, nectar of dharma. So this is what, first we have to define what do we mean by ethics. I don't know. We say children are going astray, all these things, but how to bring them back? It is like belling a cat. Who will do it? It is not that easy to bring the senses and mind in order and to put life in the track of dharma. It is not that easy. You need tremendous influence. You need a subtle kind of energy to develop ethics, a little bit of ethics in you. After telling so much, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said, Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even a little bit will do. As we said in the anecdote of Ramakrishna, first a person has to practice Somebody asked Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, how can we help another person spiritually? And Maharshi said, very, very practical, very, very profound. He said, the effort that you put on your own self, in putting your senses in order, your mind in order, the tapas that you do will naturally play upon others. Only that can impact the other person. You have to reveal through your life, and seeing that people will learn. Otherwise it is not possible. They will see through you. You are only talking, you are not practicing. There was one great Mahatma, Karapatri Maharaj in Kashi. Once one person asked him, Swamiji, what is the lakshana of a sthita prajna? And Karapatri Maharaj spoke elaborately about sthita prajna lakshana. Then this youngster said, many of these are not in you, Swamiji. Then Karapatri Maharaj said, you asked about Sthita Prajna Lakshana. So I spoke to you about Sthita Prajna Lakshana. If you had asked about my Lakshana, I would have spoken about my Lakshana. I told you about what the Shastras are saying. Now if you are asking about me, I would have told about you. See, people will always look at the person who is talking, and it is not that easy to be a teacher, to come into the society and reveal this to others. Very, very difficult. Very difficult. Great sages have said, when they failed in their mission here or there, they will not put the blame on others. They will say, I do not have tapas. My austerity is not enough to make them, force them do this. So that is the Indian way. That is why I told Ramayana began with tapas. If tapas is not there, talking, arranging lectures, writing books, all these things we can do. We are doing that. But at last we find something is lacking. Some very deep energy is needed to make that flow. So that has happened in our tradition through tapas. And what is tapas? Manasasya indriyanam cha aikagryam paramam tapaha. That is many, many definitions. Anything that can lift you from the fallen state is tapas. See, tapa, if you put it reverse, it means pada. This patita avastha. The mind, when it goes, it is patanam. The Ken Upanishad says, Keneshitam patati preshitam manaha. The moment mind goes out, it is patanam only. The same mind, when you take it inward, it is tapas. And when slowly you build up the character, Indriya Nigraha, Mano Nigraha, and also some spiritual practice, which can lift you, which can make you spiritually evolve, flower, that is all tapas. And our very Indian tradition is that great kings also were longing to do tapas. Even Ramayana, Rama says, Naham arthaparo devi lokam avastumutsahe viddhimam rishibhistulyam vimalam dharmamastitam. Very, very beautiful shloka. You know the story. Kaikeyi asked for the kingdom. She told Dasharatha, give the kingdom to my son Bharata, let Rama go to forest. But she had a doubt whether Rama will go or not. So she was telling Rama, quick, you go very quickly. Because if you wait here, your father will not eat or drink water. Such cruel words she were telling. Hearing that, Rama said, my dear mother, do not doubt. I will go. Because I don't want this kingdom. See, who will say this? Dustyaja surepsita rajya lakshmi. That is what Shukacharya says. How can we know the politicians? Even if you pull them down, they will not come down. So here Rama says, Naham arthaparo devi, I don't want this wealth, this worldly wealth. Lokama vastu mutsahe. And with so much confidence he says, Viddhimam rishibhistulyam. Consider me to be equal to the sages like Vasishta and Vishwamitra. Vimalam dharmamasthitam. I like to follow their dharma. Even Sita says that. Such a beautiful couple. When father asked Rama to go to forest, will any wife follow? She said, wherever you are, I will come. And not only that, after going to forest, they were not meeting corporates or business people or warrior people. They were meeting only rishis, all ashrama, very beautiful description. Suddenly they are going to enter Dandakaranya, that Aranyakandam. The first verse is, Pravishyatu Maharanyam Dandakaranyam Atmavan Ramo Dadarsha Durdarshaham Tapasashrama Mandalam. See, Rama's gate to South India. When he was about to enter South India, when he is entering Dakshina Bharata, the picture is, he is seeing so many ashramas, tapasashrama mandalam. We can be very proud about South India and we can also be little bit ashamed. Because South India had two kind of people. One is full of sages. On the other side, Rakshasas. Now also same. All the Acharyas are from here. See, even the Acharyas, Shankaracharya, Ramanuja, Madhvacharya, everyone is from here. And the other group also are very powerful. So, Pravishyatu Maharanyam Dandakaranyam Atmavan. The moment he was entering there, he stood like a sage, absolutely controlled, absorbed within. And he saw so many sages from one ashrama to another ashrama to another ashrama. He was moving about. You can see Valmiki has very clearly pictured. In one ashrama he stayed for 3 weeks, another place for 28 days, another place for 31 days, another place for 6 months. Everything very clear, as if taken down. And Sita tells Rama, why should we go back to Ayodhya? We will stay here. There all tension, stress, political problem, society problem, all worldly life. We will better stay here and do tapas like these sages. Then Rama enjoys her words and he says, if someone hears your talk, they will come and ask, are you not the daughter of Janaka? Kulam yapatisantyaja dharmaknye janakatmaje. Only the daughter of Janaka can speak like this. So you are revealing the stuff with which you are made of. So this is Ramayana. So there, Rama says, I am not after this worldly wealth, worldly desire. Even after killing Ravana, when they were about to return, the very famous verse, it is not in Valmiki Ramayana, it is in some other Ananda Ramayana or some other work, where Lakshmana says, see how beautiful Lanka is, all golden city. Looking at that, Rama said, Api Swarnamayi Lanka Name Lakshmana Rochate Janani Janma Bhumishya Swargadapi Gariyasi. Even if this Lanka is made of gold, it does not taste me, O Lakshmana. One's mother and Matrubhumi is greater than Swarga, greater than heaven. When Swami Vivekananda was about to return from America, somebody asked, when you are going back from this powerful West to India, it is all very poverty-stricken place now, very difficult to live. How do you feel? Then Swamiji quoted this verse and said, now each and every dust there is a Teertha Bhumi for me. So Janani Janma Bhumishya Swargadapi Gariyasi. It was like a second coming back of Hanuman. When he came back to Rameshwaram in Kunduhal, you can go and there is a Ramakrishna ashrama there. And Swami Vivekananda was about to alight, the then king Setupati, Raja Setupati of Ramanat, he went there and said, Swamiji, come down from the ship by keeping your feet on my head. Swamiji said, the head of a Raja is the place of Bhagavan. So that should not be done. He was sitting there on his knees. That is, in Tamil it is Kundugal. That is how that place was named like that. So that kind of culture is there in our land, where a sage is worshipped, where a sannyasi is worshipped, where even great kings, they were desiring to have tapas, to regenerate yourself, to recreate yourself spiritually. Because tapas had a strange attraction to everyone in this land. You can see in Kalidasa's works also that Dilipa goes to tapas, Raghu goes to tapas, Aja goes to tapas. All of them, they are all going to tapas. And in Kumara Sambhava, you can see Parameshwara doing tapas. One of the very, very inspiring verse. Even now when you go from Rishikesh to Badri, there is a place on the bank of Ganga, and that place is called Virahi Ganga. Viraha means separation. The sorrow of separation. For whom? For Mahadeva, for Shiva. He was sitting on the bank of Ganga, separated from Sati, and doing tapas. Already Parvati is born as the daughter of Himavan, Haimavati, but she has not now come back to merge in Shiva. So to invite Parvati towards him, he is doing tapas there. And in front of him there is a dhuni, a fire is lit. Shiva has 8 forms and fire is one form. With fire in front of him, Shiva is doing tapas. This is the picture that in Kumara Sambhava Kalidasa is giving. Tatra agnimadhaya samit samidhe. The very verse is very powerful. Tatra agnimadhaya samit samidhe. Swameva murtyantaramashtamurtihi Swayam vidhata tapasaf phalanam Kenapi kamena tapaschachara. Kenapi kamena tapaschachara. The desireless Lord Parameshwara himself was doing tapas there. So the purpose of tapas is to lift you. It is not kamya tapas. It is the spiritual tapas. Bahavo jnana tapasa puta madbhavam agataha. In Gita, Bhagavan says jnana tapas. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi said, Aham apetakam nija vibhanagam mahaditam tapaha Ramana Vagiyam. The state where the ego is completely absorbed in the heart. The ego is not allowed to jump. And to remain in that state, to remain in the source of creativity, source of power. And that is tapas. It's a great secret, Tapas, tapo brahmeti, the Shruti says, because tapas is something, even a small japa yajna can become tapas. Gita, many kind of tapas Bhagavan has told, and he says, yajnanam japa yajñosmi. You are doing some japa, that is also a tapas. Somehow, you have to catch hold of this mind, purify the mind. The only purpose of tapas is to purify the mind. In Viveka Chudamani, Shankaracharya says, Tan manas shodhanam karyam prayatnayana mumukshuna. With tremendous effort, you have to purify the mind. And how to achieve that purity of mind? By sadhana. And sadhana is tapas. So any means that you use to purify the mind, first of all, you should be aware that your mind is impure. Even that recognition is purity. Naturally, when the first sign of purity is you start feeling my mind is impure. Otherwise, people generally in world, they say, if you invite them for satsang, they will say, this is all not needed. You have to have a pure mind, that's all. They think they have a pure mind. But all great devotees say, my mind is impure. Even Shankaracharya says, Sada mohatavyam charati. My mind is wandering about in the forest of delusion. This is the prayer. O Parameshwara, you purify my mind. So purity of the mind, the means that you employ to purify the mind is tapas. That is what the sages were all constantly doing in forest. And when the mind becomes pure, there is great, profound peace within. The effect of tapas is shanti. The effect of tapas, you can have physical tapas, verbal tapas and mental tapas. Gita, Bhagavan speaks about physical tapas, verbal tapas and mental tapas. Physical tapas is Devadvija Guru Prajna Pujanam, Shaucham Arjavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsacha Shariram Tapa Uchyate. Physically you do some tapas like doing puja, timely bath, everything. Physically whatever you do for, in Tiruvannamalai they will come and do Giri Pradakshanam. That is physical tapas. It is also a mental tapas because you need tremendous endurance, patience, willpower. So that is also there. But basically you are employing your body there. That is also good. And verbal tapas is Shastra Patana, Japa. And talking in such a way that you will not hurt others. Anudvega karam vakyam satyam priyam hitam chayat. Swadhyayabhyasanam chaiva vangmayam tapa uchyate. It is vangmayam tapas. And Shastra Patana, Swadhyaya, it is all tapas that can be done with vak. And Manasam tapas, that is very subtle. Slowly these things will seep within And the mind will also gather that tapas, where your mind becomes quiet. There is great tyaga, there is great bhakti in the mind. There is pure love in the mind. Shanti is there. Inward integrity is there. Then naturally that will have the impact on others. If these three tapas, if we can do, if we can cultivate ethics in ourselves, that is greatly spiritually helpful. In fact, that is Dharma, that is sadhana. And the main thing in that tapas is, the greatest tapas, the Vedas says, is renunciation. Nyasa yesham tapasam atiriktamahuhu. In fact, when you do sadhana, naturally renunciation comes there. You renounce many things. This tapas is ingrained in Indian way of life. People go to Shabarimala, and illiterate people, village from every nook and corner of Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, everyone comes there. And mostly these village people, they are so devoted. For 40 days, they won't eat non-vegetarian food. They will not drink. They will wake up early morning, take bath in cold water. I've seen these things happening. And a tapas is formed. Of course, 42nd day they will give it up. But every year there is a strange fascination to do it again and again and again. So the very way of Indian life, this tapas is ingrained. Only after purifying oneself through tapas, one becomes eligible, deserving for higher inquiry. In Dharmabodha, Shankaracharya says, Tapobhihi kshina papanam shantanam vitaraginam mumukshunam apekshoyam atmabodho vidhiyate. You should be qualified to inquire into yourself, to do the Atma Vichara. When you have purified yourself thoroughly through tapas, then this is possible. So, largely, today, instead of speaking ethics, I am speaking tapas, because ethics is not something which you can tell others. Ethics is something which should flower in us. Values are something which has to happen in us, and that can happen only through tapas. The effort that we employ in us is tapas. Even to have truthfulness, satyam, that yama, niyama or brahmacharya, we know how difficult it is, how much tapas is needed, how much willpower is needed. And when you try to do it, it is not like that. People have willpower when they want to study. If you want to get admission to MBBS, you write entrance, go there, get admission, or engineering, you do it. But the same effort, if you want to give up something, somebody tells you, don't eat sugar, don't smoke, don't drink, they find very difficult. And the effort that you put there is tapas. Someone tells you early morning you do Sandhya Vandanam, do some japa every day. One day you do, second day you do, third day it is not. Why we are not able to hold on to spiritual values? Because spiritual values like meditation or any spiritual practice is a ground where you can cultivate what you normally call as values. Otherwise it is not possible. This tyaga, giving up something for others, a small thing, but it is not that easy. Because the ego is so strong, it wants everything for itself. It is very difficult. You are going in a bus, you are sitting in the seat, you got a seat and bus is full. Suddenly one old person comes there and standing there, and very difficult to stand. He is finding it very difficult to stand. You see him, there is a pain inside. There is a conflict whether I should stand up, give the seat, or continue to sit. Your intellect normally will support only your body. It will tell you, if you give seat to him, you have to travel 2 hours, he will get up in the next station, get down, somebody else will sit. All these arguments the brain will bring out, and you will simply sit like this. And after 2 hours, you see the person is standing there, and you go home, no sleep in the night. If you have real conscience, you will not sleep. Otherwise, you wake up, you stand up, give him the seat, the tyaga, a small renunciation you do, and he looks at you and gives a smile which touches your heart. You go home and sleep, that is samadhi. See, a small thing, example I am giving, because tyaga is not that easy. Tapas is not that easy. Character building Swamiji told, but it is not that easy. Swamiji told many things. He said to his disciples, he said, I love you so much that I want to see all of you dead for others, die for others. What is this? And he said, that is sannyasa. Vasantavad lokahitam charanta Teertha swayam bhima bhavarnavam janan ahetunanyana vitarayandaha. The Jivan Muktas, they are all sarvabhuta suhrit. Bhagavata says they are friend of all. They have no selfishness. And to have a person like that is great revolution. As they have quoted Vivekananda, I am remembering many sayings, because in younger days that was a great influence. In inspiring talks is a portion where he says, let a few souls live for God and for God alone, and let the world go, have no compromise. Then there will be a revolution. How many will be ready for that? For that great tyaga? That is the height of Dharma. That is why we call it as Paramahamsa Dharma. Ethics in its height. The greatest renunciation. The renunciation of the ego and all its wants, desires. And when that is done, it is very rare, when in Ramayana, when Rama saw Vibhishana coming to him after renouncing Lanka, he advised Ravana to take Sita back to Rama. Ravana did not listen. He drove him out. And Vibhishana came to this side of the ocean and said, Tyaktva bharyamsha putramsha raghavam sharanam gataha. I have come surrendered to Rama. Then Rama made a meeting. All the monkeys are there. They are ready to attack Vibhishana. They said, give us order. We will jump, pounce upon him. And they are all ready. At that time, Rama asked each one of them, what should I do? Should I take him or not? Many of them said, we should kill him here. One monkey said, we will question him. And we will find out what is his real intention. Only Hanuman was support. He said, we should take him. But when Rama asked Sugriva said, we should not take him. Why Sugriva? Sugriva said, because the right moment when we are going to fight, he has renounced his own brother and has come to you. How can we believe him? Rama looked at Sugriva and then he looked at Lakshmana and smiled. Ishad utsmayamanaha Lakshmanam prati lakshanam. That spoke volumes. Because the moment Rama smiled, Sugriva understood what it meant. Because he did the same thing. He made Rama kill his own brother, but forgot all his deeds when he saw Vibhishana. Then Rama made, one nature of Rama is, he knows what he is. There is a saying in English, he knows not that he knows not. He knows that he knows, he is wise, follow him. He knows not that he knows not, or he knows that he knows not, he is humble. You can teach him. He knows not that he knows not. He is a fool, ignore him. Rama knows that he knows. That is why to Kaikeyi also he said, I am like a sage. And here he says, take it from me, Sugriva, that there will not be another Rama. And he says, there will not be another brother like my brother Bharata. There will not be another son who will go to forest by hearing it from his father. Na sarve bhratarastata bhavanti bharatopamaha madvidhava pituhu putraha suhrdasya bhavadvidaha. So this is where he says, this renunciation is not that easy. You need an avataara purusha to do that. So that kind of renunciation, it is the greatest tapas, and that is the power of character. Bahujana hitaya, bahujana sukhaya, for the well-being of many, for the good of all. If a person is ready to renounce his own selfish desires, that is dharma. And to abhishavana, there is a word called abhishavana. You have to extricate, just like churning the ocean, they brought the nectar, like that we have to churn the body, the mind, the soul, and bring out this rare thing called dharma from within. You have to do the tapas. You can call it dharma, or you can call it spirituality, or you can call it character, or you can call it tapas, or you can also call it Bhagavan. You can call it bhakti. Some profound essence arises from the human soul, and that can never come from the body or the mind. The body and mind are of course churned. The austerity is performed with the body, with the mind, with the senses. It's a very profound subject. Just one day I am talking, I am speaking to you. We cannot bring it out. We have to churn it out from within. And we have to live that life. Transform our life. It is a great alchemy where you transform the lead as gold. It's like Chintamani Vidya. It is a Chintamani Vidya. So this we have to, first we should be extremely subjective. Atmanishta. I am not talking about spirit, jnana atmanishta. It is that you have to turn towards yourself every step. Physically, mentally, intellectually, spiritually. That is why the first step is, you see all the devotees, bhaktas, they say, I do not have bhakti, I have this problem, that problem, everything they tell Bhagavan. And one of the greatest devotees, Manikya, a great Shiva Bhakta, he says, my love is a bluff. My heart is bluff. And I myself is the greatest bluff, he says. Nane poi, nenjum poi, anbum poi. Oh Lord, I can only weep to you. So this inner ring, this inward looking, this putting the entire focus on myself, this is sadhana. Otherwise I can just talk and go, that's all. That I have to look at myself, you have to look at yourself. And we have to see, turn, lift every brick in our habit. Because character is made by habit, and every brick you lift, you find something is hiding there. The center is this selfishness, this ego. To make a thorough cleansing of that antakarana, sadhana is needed, swadhyaya is needed, Bhagavat Kripa is needed. Above all, a very strange power is also needed. That is not visible outside, but it is palpable in the presence of a yogi who has lived that life. That is why you need direct contact with devotees, sages, those who have higher kind of life. So unless you have that, these things, these things were available to us in our very families. That is why it was not so difficult. In this Bharata Varsha, each and every family was like a tapovana, like an ashrama. And there were elders who were leading a spiritual life. A tapas was visible. By such paramparas we have come to this spot in history now. But now to recreate it, where can we recreate it? How can we propagate? Is it possible to propagate ethics? I am questioning the very thing. Is it possible to tell someone that you should be like this? First of all, who am I to tell that? Do I have those qualities in me? If we ask this question, this question has no answer. The answer for this question is, something will happen within each one of us. Any spiritual idea or anything which we speak highly about, if I ask myself whether I have this, there will be a silence within. But if I go on asking that, it will awaken great austerity. A great energy will arise within to put effort to purify the body, the mind, the senses. Something which will put everything in order will arise within. Hence, this satsanga is useful. When we speak about ethics, when we speak about immorality, this is what they call Dharma glani. And this Dharma glani, Bhagavan says, whenever there is Dharma glani, I will. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati Bharata, abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. So Bhagavan has to come. Where will he come? He has to come within me. He has to come within you. And when you really want Bhagavan, he will come to you. You will get Guru, you will get Shastra, you will get Sadhana. And you will make your own mind, body, senses, everything as a laboratory where you will start striving. Oh, what I told, this alchemy will start happening within. And you will find the gold inside. Deep down within in the heart, you will find a center where you go and touch. It will transform your mind, your senses, your body, everything. That is why Rama said, Sukshma Paramadurjneyaha Sadam Dharma. He said that the Dharma of the Jnani, a yogi, is a very, very subtle thing. It comes from the Atma. It comes from the soul. It comes from the center, from the self, from the heart. So all our struggle will take us to that plane, that center. When you are replenished from within, from that center, then Dharma will be born inside you. That is Paritranaya Sadhunam. That is real Paritrana. Then you will find Dharma inside you, tapas inside you. Then, as Swami Vivekananda said, each word that you utter will tell like thunderbolt. I know a very small incident I remember. Ramakrishna's, one of the disciples, Swami Brahmananda, when he came to Kerala, Haripad, there Swami Nirmalananda was doing the prachara work there, and one youngster was having great argument with Swami Nirmalananda. He said, I don't believe in God, all those things. And Swami Nirmalananda was also a great intellectual, and he was putting him down with all his logic, reasoning. But still that boy was not ready to accept. Suddenly Swami Brahmananda came there and he asked Tulasi, what are you doing? He said, Maharaj, this fool is arguing with me and I have been telling him so much and he has no brain to receive this. Then Swamiji asked, my dear child, what is your problem? He wanted to tell Swami that I don't believe in God. But before he could say something, not much Vedanta or anything, Swami just touched him and said, "My dear child, God is there within you." The moment that great sage told this boy just wept and melted like. For hours he was arguing. One word, he just melted. Next moment he was there. Sharanagati, Namaskara. And what is that strange power? See, if you have the true love in your heart, bhakti in your heart, actually that is jnanam. Tasya priyameva shiraha modo dakshinah pakshaha pramoda uttarah pakshaha ananda atma. In the heart there is ananda, there is love in front, there is contentment on one side, there is happiness on another side, there is great bliss in the center. And there is love like fragrance coming out of that such a person. And such a person, we can say, is ethical. Otherwise, even to tell another person, you are not ethical, is non-ethical. Even to say you are immoral is immoral. Because even Bhagavan did not say that. He said, Abhichetu suduracharo bhajate mamananya bhag. Even if he is a durachari, let him come to me, he will be a saint. Apichetasi papepya sarvebhya papakrittamaha sarvam jnanaplavenaiva vrijinam samtarishyasi. Even if you have done the greatest harm, greatest sin, take this Atma Vidya, this Jnana, you will just cross this ocean of sin. There is no Papa, there is. Swami Vivekananda said, it is sin to call you sinners. Because in West, they have heard so much, Papi, Papi, sinners, sinners, sinners. But here is some person coming from a distant land from east and telling that it is sin to call you sinners. You are the children of immortal bliss. That is what our sages called Shrinvantu Vishwe, Amritasya Putraha, Aye Dhamani Divyani Tastuhu. Amritasya Putraha. So even to look at another person that he has no character, that fails. That I have tried many times. Seen that even to children, if you tell something, it does not work. Even to say that it is wrong, nothing will work. When Kunjaswami asked Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, Bhagavan, many people do wrong things here and you are not correcting them. You keep quiet, they think they are right. Bhagavan said, Na yarin Teertha varla vai. I did not come here to reform other people. If I have to reform, not a crow will fly inside ashram. Not even a crow can be considered flawless. So that was the stand of sages. They just lived. And that life had its own fragrance, its own power, that invited people around. See, when Rama went, monkeys were there. Esya kapayas sahayaha. Somebody will come to serve. Even a squirrel wanted to serve, we say, because it was attracted to Rama, and that is Dharma, Vigrahavan Dharma. Dharma has a strange power. When Dharma is there in a person, he is like the cloud of Dharma which will pour down Dharma. Dharma Megha Samadhi. Patanjali in Yoga Sutra says, the Jnani's mind is a cloud that can pour down, shower Dharma. By his mere presence, Dharma will happen around. So, our entire effort is to do some kind of spiritual practice, any kind of. See, even if you do a Nama Japa, it is like a key with which you open your own inner chamber. And Antarmukhata is born, some kind of introversion happens. Then you start seeing your body, your mind, your behavior, your character, your ego, everything. Unless you have this inward looking habit, you cannot transform yourself. If you cannot transform yourself, it is sheer hypocrisy, arrogance, pride to try to transform another person. At the same time, we have to help others. We have to serve others. That is also needed. So how will we have a balance when we have to do something like what Disha is doing? As Rekama said, Krishnapalji, I also know him, I have seen him. They were all great Tyagis, they were all great, those who have sacrificed everything for the land, for Bharata. So they did it like a great bhakti, their Ishta Devata was this land. Their Ishta Devata was this people around. So their attitude was entirely different. So when you work for Disha, when you have this thing, what our diagnosis is also right, because the media, the modern development, everything is making it more and more difficult for the way of life that sages have revealed to us. So it is always a challenge how to again make the river of tapas go on, dharma go on. So this is an effort where you meet people, where you have contact with youngsters and put the idea inside them. But the most important thing is look at myself. And I am doing it to look at myself and to make my own mind centered within. It is a very, very austere job. It needs tremendous concentration. Without getting distracted, one has to stay in one's track, swadharma. And whatever little you achieve, that will stay there. Otherwise, even if you make great noise and create a big crowd and big thing, everything will go. It will not stay. Small group, a small chamber where you have few, if you can turn even a single person towards the higher life, that is great revolution. Don't think about quantity, number, it does not count. There was only one Buddha, one Shankaracharya, there was only one Ramanujacharya, one Madhvacharya. Even now, after thousands of years, we are speaking about them. There was only one Ramana Maharshi, one Ramakrishna, one Vivekananda. It is not that so many Vivekanandas were there. But what a single person can do, an organization cannot do. I was told this to many Ramakrishna Mutt people also, that what that Ramakrishna achieved from that Dakshineshwar temple, an international organization cannot do. You can only maintain that. Because what happened there, that magic, that is tapas. That is really spiritual. So, something very simple you can do in a corner with 4 children. What our Nani's grandmothers used to do. Tell a Ramayana to a child, his grandson. In our village, we used to sit around and everyone will get a handful of anna. Along with that story also. And that is how these epics have come to us. The story part has come. But what about the first word of Ramayana? We are standing there. Ramayana story has come, but we have not started Ramayana. Because the very beginning of Ramayana is tapaha, and the second thing is swadhyaya. If you have tapas and swadhyaya, ethics will come, dharma will come, life will have a great evolution, elevation. So these two things, and I am going to stop now. We have to remember these 2 words, tapaha, swadhyaya. Tapas is personal spiritual practice, and swadhyaya is study of the scriptures alone or collectively, and nourishing yourself with the epics, with the ideals of great sages, saints, and those who have walked this path before us. Unless you get that knowledge, you will not be inspired to walk in that path. We are here in Sringeri Mutt, where even now we have our Mahasannidhanam Bharati Teertha Mahaswami and Vidushekara Bharati Swamiji, where a great tradition of great sages have come in that parampara. And Sharada Bhagavati is here. She is the embodiment of tapas. She is the embodiment of Brahma Vidya. See, Divine Mother, our goddess, she is also Vidyam Shuddham Cha Buddhim Kamalaja Daite Satvaram Dehi Mahyam. That is the prayer. As Nrsimha Bharati Swami says, when Chandrasekhara Bharati Swami was before his birth, Nrsimha Bharati Swami prayed to Sharada Devi, give me a follower who will have tapas, who will have knowledge, who will know all the scriptures, who will do all the spiritual practice, and who will be like a shadow to me. Chayam matkam vidhatsva pravachana namana dhyana pujasu shaktam. See, this is the prayer. The follower who comes behind me should have all the powers. He should have the knowledge, you should have tapas, you should have humility, you should have bhakti. And how will all that come? By your grace. So we pray to that goddess Sharada Bhagavati that let this Bharata Varsha live as Bharata Varsha. Let this land of ours live as the Arsha Bhumi, where so many great sages, so many Mahatapasvis, so many Paramahamsas have taken birth. So, with this prayer to all the Acharyas, all the sages, we will conclude this inaugural talk to Disha. And when concluding, there is a Bharata Mata Stava, and you all might have been knowing that because Kuldeep has in his Bande Guru Paramparam series long back, they had very beautifully sung that in that series. So I will just, when he asked, in that time I wrote it and gave it to him. This is the first time I am going to chant it here. Namo Namo Bharadambe Saraswata Sharirini Namostu Jagatam Vadye Brahma Vidya Prakashini Namo Namo Bharadambe Himalaya Kiritini Gangadhyaha Saritas Sarvaha Stanyamte Vishwapavani Namo Namo Bharadambe Badari Shandamandite Teerthi Kurvandya Lokanste Teertha Bhuta Munishwaraha Namo Namo Bharadambe Vindhyatungastanayite Samudra Vasane Devi Sahyamala Virajite Namo Namo Bharadambe Muktikedara Rupini Jnana Bijakare Purne Rishindra Tati Sevite Namo Namo Bharadambe Sarva Vidya Vilasini Gauda Maithila Kampilya Dravidadi Sharirini Namo Namo Bharadambe Sarva Teertha Swarupini Kashyahi Kashase Mataha Tvam hi Sarva Prakashika Namo Namo Bharadambe Gurustvam Jagatam Para, as she said, the teacher of the world. Veda Vedanta Gambhire Nirvana Sukhadayini Yatiloka Padanyasa Pavitri Krita Pamsave Namostu Jagatam Dhatri Moksha Margaika Setave. With this, we conclude this session. All best wishes to Disha to continue this service to Bharatamba. Swastivav Paraya Tamasav Parastat Haranamav Parvati Pataye Hara Hara Mahadev.